Imagine a weapon so large it isn't moved, it's built into a mountain. A gun so massive it doesn't fire bullets, it fires objects into the upper atmosphere. Not theory, not sci fi, a real project backed by a government, tracked by intelligence agencies, and quietly buried in declassified documents. This is Project Babylon, and the CIA file on it reads less like a warning and more like a blueprint for something the world wasn't supposed to finish. The document you're looking at is a declassified intelligence paper titled Project Babylon, the Iraqi Supergun. It was prepared by the CIA's Directorate of Intelligence. Not a rumor, not a conspiracy thread, an internal analysis of a real weapons program. The concept is simple, disturbingly simple. Instead of launching payloads with rockets, you build a giant gun and you fire them. The gun itself, look at the diagrams. The scale is absurd. A 1000 diameter barrel stretching across terrain, mounted along mountainsides, fixed at a precise angle. This is not a mobile weapon, it's infrastructure, like a bridge or a dam, except its only purpose is to launch objects at extreme velocity. The official framing? Long range gun. Potential satellite launch capability, ballistic experimentation, but intelligence analysis makes something clear. This thing could fire projectile, subcaliber rounds, potentially even payloads into near space. And once you can do that, the line between space launch and weapon delivery starts to blur. This wasn't just an idea. By 1990, Iraq had built and fired a 350 mm constructed components for the 1000 mm supergun, acquired massive steel sections for the barrel coordinated production across multiple countries. Let that sink in. This wasn't a lab experiment. This was an international industrial project. The document makes it clear. Parts came from companies across Europe, including firms in the UK, Spain, Switzerland, and Italy, not necessarily knowing the full picture, not necessarily asking the right questions, just fulfilling contracts, shipping components, building pieces of something massive. At the center of this, Gerald Bull, a weapons engineer, a man obsessed with big guns, not metaphorically, literally. The document states his assassination in March 1990 triggered a chain reaction that slowed the project dramatically. And just like that, the brain behind the machine was gone. Then came the turning point. UK Customs seized key gun barrel sections. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait triggered international intervention. Components were intercepted. The project stalled. And by 1991, the supergun was dismantled under UN supervision. The document doesn't say this was impossible. It says something far more unsettling. It suggests it was feasible but impractical due to scale and vulnerability. There's even a line noting that while efficient for launching payloads, the lack of mobility made it vulnerable in a future conflict. Let's strip away the headlines. This wasn't just about Iraq. This wasn't just about one weapon. This was about an idea that you could bypass rockets, bypass traditional launch systems, and build something cheaper, bigger, more direct, a mechanical shortcut to the sky. Look at the images again. The gun isn't hidden, it's not sleek, it's not subtle. It's a line carved into the earth, a statement, a declaration, almost arrogant in its scale, because this project shows something uncomfortable. You don't need futuristic technology to change the game. Sometimes all you need is scale engineering and a willingness to ignore how insane the idea sounds. Project Babylon didn't fail because it was impossible. It failed because it was interrupted, because key parts were seized, because the world noticed just in time, because the man leading it was removed. Now, here's the part people don't ask, but should. If something like Project Babylon was technically achievable in the late 1980s, what would it look like today? Because this wasn't built with modern materials, not modern simulation software, not modern manufacturing. This was late Cold War engineering, steel, ballistics, mathematics. And even then, they got dangerously close. So fast forward to now. We're dealing with advanced alloys, precision machining, computational modeling, high fidelity ballistic simulation, modern guidance systems, the kind of tools that remove a lot of the guesswork that Project Babylon was still wrestling with. Which means the real question isn't, is this possible? That question's already been answered. The real question is, who has the capacity to do it? Start with the obvious. Any country capable of building large-scale artillery systems, producing long-range ballistic missiles, manufacturing high-grade steel infrastructure, and coordinating multinational supply chains already has most of the pieces. That includes the United States, China, Russia, all of which have massive industrial bases, advanced weapons engineering, experience with large-scale ballistic systems. They don't need a supergun, but they absolutely have the capability to explore one. Then you've got countries like India, France, the United Kingdom, nations with aerospace industries, advanced metallurgy, precision engineering. Again, not necessarily building something like this, but technically capable of contributing to it. And that's the part people underestimate. Project Babylon wasn't built by one country alone. It relied on international suppliers, specialized components, companies that didn't always know the full picture. So the real modern risk isn't one nation secretly building a mountain gun. It's distributed construction, pieces made here, sections shipped there, components assembled somewhere else, a system so large that no single part looks dangerous on its own until it's all in one place. And then there's the uncomfortable reality. We've already moved beyond the need for something like this. Modern missiles are mobile, precise, harder to intercept in certain cases, which is exactly why the document points out a key weakness. The supergun's lack of mobility makes it vulnerable. It's a fixed target, a giant immovable line in the landscape. So why even think about it today? Because efficiency still matters. A gun-based launch system could, in theory, reduce cost per launch, simplify certain payload delivery systems, bypass some complexities of rocket staging, and in niche scenarios, that becomes attractive. But here's the real takeaway. The barrier to building something like Project Babylon today isn't knowledge, materials, engineering. It's visibility. You can't hide something that big. You can't move it. You can't pretend it's anything else. Which means if something like this were ever pursued again, it wouldn't be hidden in plain sight by accident. It would be hidden behind justification, reclassification, or dual use framing. Something that looks like research, infrastructure, or experimental testing until it isn't. So, no, you don't need to claim it's being built right now. You don't need conspiracy. The reality is already sharp enough. It was possible then. It's easier now. And multiple nations have the capacity. Which brings us back to the real point. Project Babylon didn't just show what one country attempted. It showed what becomes possible when ambition, engineering, and just enough silence come together in the same place.